Oh, what the fuck? Oh, hey, what's up, casuals? I just realized I was stuck inside the Matrix for the past couple of weeks. It all makes sense now. Man, I should take a break from all this VR, game talk stuff. Oh shit, it's the Game Awards today. Ah, shit. Alright, let's make this quick. I'm gonna do this. How's this look? Okay. Let's do a little bit of this. I think that'll do. And whoop. Alright. Pretty good. It's that time of the year where we all talk about the greatest games of all time, including what got snubbed and that random game that came out last December. For someone who used to watch the Oscars back when it was worthwhile and not the Green Book winning Best Picture over fucking Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, shit, I would have joined Spike Lee in that walkout. That being said, I do enjoy watching award shows for genres I'm interested in, even though it can be covered in Hollywood press marketing at times. And the Game Awards is no exception, being overhyped for not only awards, but brand new video game announcements. You had me on that last bit, so there's no reason gamers should not watch this show. Although, when you bring up 6 very distinctive games with no clear runner-up like God of War and The Last of Us, this is going to be a very interesting ceremony this year. Now personally, I would like to make my own top 10 games of the year, but due to massive time constraints, we're just going to resort to the Game of the Year nominees and rank all 6 with my thoughts. Conveniently, I've actually played through the majority of these titles, with the exception of one for obvious reasons. Yes, I do indeed like to play good games for my spare time. I've already wasted 8 minutes with this cheap garbage and made an excuse to talk about The Matrix with a mediocre title at best. I think I've earned this. 3rd time's the charm. So, first up.
And the Game Award for Games for Impact goes to Life is Strange: True Colors.
Thank you so much. I can't believe we won.
This is the pre-show. Yeah, I just got word from Jeff Keighley himself. Apparently the ceremony is going to be over 3.5 hours long. That's including the pre-show. But Jesus, you might as well start giving out the awards now and make room for all the big guns they have. Anyways, let's get started with my personal rankings. Not gonna lie, I'm kinda surprised with this choice. And when you compare it to games like Returnal and Forza Horizon 5, I don't think it really deserves to be on this list. I love the Resident Evil series. I may not be a hardcore fanboy playing through every single entries, but the ones I've played so far are great games. Resident Evil 8 is no exception, basically combining everything you like about Resident Evil 4 in this cult village with a first-person perspective and insanity from Resident Evil 7, minus the VR. It's a solid game all around, but as Game of the Year? I don't know, man. Doesn't quite hit the high caliber like Resident Evil 2 Remake in my book, and doesn't really stand out to me as Game of the Year in the long run in comparison to the other nominees. It might as well be comfort food gaming for me at this point. It's one of those games that gives you something worthwhile to tide you over until the next big game comes right around the corner. One of these days I'll get around to it.
Hello, the Game Awards! Awards! I come bearing news!
Oh shit, are they finally gonna bring Persona 4 to other platforms?
Ever wonder what happened after Persona 4 Golden? Now you can check out Persona 4 Arena Ultimax and find out! I can barely wait to show you how everybody's doing!
You gotta be fucking kidding me. Sometimes I just don't get Atlus when it comes to Persona games. They've always been a PlayStation exclusive franchise for the most part, but the second they make a follow-up as a fighting game or hack and slash, it's available on other platforms that never had any representation beforehand. Like, cool, Persona 5 is on Switch, but only the sequel to Persona 5, not the original, which can only be played on PlayStation. Now, I don't mind exclusive games as it entices you to buy a specific console to play them, but all these Persona spin-offs just makes things more convoluted than it should be.
We should not and will not tolerate any abuse, harassment, and predatory practices by anyone, including our online communities.
And the Game Award for Best Independent Game goes to Kena, Bridge of Spirits.
Kena, Bridge of Spirits also wins Best Debut Indie Game.
I missed out on a lot of indie games this year, so I don't really have much to say in regards to this category. But I will say, huge shout out for Ember Labs' debut game. Now, Hellblade 2 looks absolutely stunning. Apparently, everything in this trailer is running in real time on the new Unreal Engine 5. Definitely more in line of what to expect like the first game. Very narrative heavy focus and not much else. Personally, I would prefer some more emphasis on improving the combat mechanic, but either way, I think this will be a surreal experience on the Series X. Another Star Wars game, Eclipse, developed by Quantic Dream? Knowing the type of games they make, I don't think the CG trailer really represent exactly what type of game we're getting at all. If you're not the 10 people who actually know who Quantic Dream is, if anything, this trailer basically says, hey, we're making a new Star Wars game, and we barely started. On top of 5 other Star Wars projects that doesn't even have a release date yet. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Oh, and Wonder Woman got revealed, developed by Monolith Productions. Again, I had to do a quick Google search to remind myself of who they are. Monolith Productions. Oh, they made Shadow of War. There's also plenty, and I mean plenty of ads that's kind of game ridiculous right off the bat. Let's press the skip ad.
And the Game Award for Best Performance goes to Maggie Robertson.
Oh yeah, I forgot. This is supposed to be an award show. The lady vampire, whose name I can't begin to pronounce, had a very brief appearance in Resident Evil 8, but she definitely stole the show when she's on screen. I was originally leaning more towards Deathloop for best performance, but honestly, you can't go wrong with any of these. Holy shit, Alan Wake
Is a monster.
Now that is how you make a reveal trailer. Over a decade since the original cult classic came out, this easily stole the show, already making it my most anticipated 2023 game, next to Spider-Man 2, and nothing else. Sure, that trailer was brief, but it really sets the tone of it being a survival horror game.
Breaking new ground here. This is going to be Remedy's first ever survival horror game. Ooh. Our take on the genre.
Knowing how excellent Remedy's gameplay is, and just hearing those words coming from Sam Lake himself, I'm extremely excited to play this on the PS5 when it eventually comes out. Sonic 2 looks surprisingly good at being, well, a Sonic movie. Another trailer for Horizon Forbidden West. Lil Dicky has this strange board meeting on making a Game Pass ad. Skip, skip, skip. Shang-Chi too distracted with Halo Infinite because he'd rather play the game than give out the award for best action game.
Oh snap, with the plasma sword? Sorry, where was I? And the Game Award for Best Action Game goes to Returnal.
I can get behind this. Originally, I thought most critics would actually lean more towards Deathloop, but Returnal is really an excellent action game all around and is developers Housemarque's best gameplay since Nex Machina. Seriously, if you haven't played either of these two, you gotta play them. All this game really needed for me is an endless level game mode, just to put my bullet hell skill to the test. Oh, it says Silent Hill! It says Silent Hill! What the fuck was that? This is an interesting one for me. For starters, I don't really have any nostalgia for the original. In fact, I never actually beat it when I played it for the first time roughly a year ago. I don't know what it is exactly, but I really like Psychonauts 2 over the original. The story is excellent, tackling some heavy themes that I was not prepared for in a family-friendly game, and has some extremely creative level designs that I didn't even think was possible on the current platform. Psychonauts 2 has that Tim Schafer vibe you see in those classic LucasArts adventure games, but instead of being point and click, it's a 3D platformer with some mediocre combat. My only issue would be the pacing. Cutscenes can be a little heavy-handed at times, making this a little lengthy for a 3D platformer of all games. That being said, overall, I really enjoyed it, and I think it has a shot at winning Best Narrative, if anything. Okay, you can't deny that Cuphead band singing a brand new track for the long-awaited DLC that we've been waiting for years, followed by this incredible trailer with a solid June 30th release date. Definitely one of the better highlights of the Game Awards. Going back to Sonic, he finally got his Breath of the Wild moment in Sonic Frontiers. We'll see how well that actually turns out. Oh look, it's our good old friend Hideo Kojima revealing a trailer for a Guillermo del Toro movie that comes out a week after the event. Now, I love Guillermo del Toro's film, and honestly, I actually never heard of Nightmare Alley until now, but having a movie trailer like this at an E3 presentation only raises more questions than answers.
And the Game Award for Best Art Direction goes to Deathloop.
Oh yeah, I forgot. This is supposed to be an award show. Don't have much opinions on this one. I would lean more towards Psychonauts 2, but hey, it's anyone's game on this one. I guess we don't really have time for other categories, so I guess we'll skim past through those, because who wants to see Tales of Arise win Best RPG? Not the casuals! This also kind of irks me because we're almost 90 minutes into the show and we've only seen like 3 awards gone up stage. And I don't know, 10 awards slid past by. You blink, you miss it. Now we're talking here. You see, I do have nostalgia for this amazing franchise, specifically the Future Trilogy on the PS3. Back when Tools of Destruction came out, my 7-year-old mind was blown with the Pixar-like visuals, heartwarming story, wacky weaponry gameplay, and being an impressive showcase for the hardware within the launch year of PS3. Same can be said for Rift Apart, exclusively for the PS5, and my god, this may be my new favorite Ratchet & Clank game. The developers Insomniac may not win very much awards when it comes to Game of the Year, but you can't deny the level of quality that's been put into the majority of their games. Hell, they're single-handedly airing the PS5 as of right now, alongside Spider-Man. This is the perfect 10-hour video game experience where you can play through start to finish without a dull moment. It's the most video game blockbuster you can get, and it's just absolute pure fun. If you have a PS5, this is a must-own title.
And the Game Award for Best Narrative goes to Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
I can get behind this. I've yet to play this on my PS5, but my dad has been enjoying it so far. Guardians of the Galaxy may very well be the best surprise game of the year. If you didn't pick up this PS5 copy for $30 during Black Friday, what is wrong with you? Now at this point, this win will pique everyone's interest and boost sales, so I think this is a win-win. New Suicide Squad game looks kinda fun. Forspoken now has a release date, and oh please God tell me that's not the official cover art.
Skip. 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 Skip that. Skip.
Deathloop surprised the hell out of me. After the obnoxious amount of trailers and marketing in every single PlayStation event, I didn't have much interest with this one, especially when each trailer looked like a completely different game, not really selling me on the time loop concept. Then oh shit, it got an 89 on Metacritic. Now I really need to see why critics are loving it, so here we are. I'll try my best to explain it since it did take me a while to really get into the groove, but it's technically not a roguelike, but more along the lines of Groundhog Days with guns. The goal of the game is to figure out how to assassinate 8 visionaries within a single day before the time loops back to the beginning. There's 4 large open levels to play through. You don't have any time limit, so playing the game gives you a freedom to play however you want. However, leaving the level will progress the day, and each location is slightly altered depending on which time of the day you go visit. Deathloop is essentially one massive puzzle for you to solve when exploring these levels. Top it off with some top-notch gunplay, and we might have ourselves a Game of the Year winner right here. Much like It Takes Two, this is one of the more unique and fresh takes in recent video games. And I find it addictive to play through, especially when you want to see how it all turns out in the end. The satisfaction of finding out how to line up all 8 visionaries at once. Now, once you beat the game, that's kinda it. Don't really have much reason to go back unless you want to find more memos or secrets that I never even heard of. But the first time experience was an exhilarating one, and will definitely take the best action game.
And the Game Award for Best Action Adventure Game goes to Metroid Dread.
Don't worry, we'll get to this. But let's just say that was a flawless win for Nintendo. Dune makes a surprising real-time strategy revival in honor of the new movies. Smart move, let's hope it's actually good. Surprised that Among Us is actually coming to VR now. Definitely piques my interest in this $5 viral game. And a K-pop music video made within the engine of an RPG that's completely superfluous to the actual game? I don't know, I think at this point everyone just gave up.
We still have another hour to go.
I haven't actually played this one since it's 2 players only, and I've yet to find a partner. One of these days I will. Although it is the same team who made A Way Out, which is one I've mostly played with my dad. And knowing how well a 2-player game can be executed, I was very interested with what this one has to offer. And I was pleasantly shocked to see it become one of the highest rated games of the year, which I think has rightfully earned that spot. I try to keep myself free from spoilers, but I've heard the game offers a wide variety of gameplay segments that keeps changing throughout, which when you think about it, can be pretty hard to pull off as far as developing games goes. With that in mind, I think it would take the win for best game direction for perfecting the execution in co-op gameplay. Plague Tale Requiem is more Plague Tale, but bigger. Imagine Dragon takes the stage for the next 5 minutes because they made the title track for Arcane, which is a video game adaptation, so it counts, guys, just bear with me.
Oh, so awesome. All right, and the award for Best Game Direction goes to Deathloop.
Alright. Okay, this could have been anyone's game for this category. All 5 nominees had excellent game direction for a completely different reason. Think of it as best director and overall execution of a game. So, for Deathloop, sure, I'm cool with this one. Skimming through some more categories since they realized we spent the last 3 hours watching commercials, but look! There's a new trailer for Elden Ring!
But there would be no victor.
For a game coming out right around the corner, you honestly think they'd show more gameplay to hype everyone up, but no. It's another damn CG trailer. Arc Raiders. Now this is a pretty damn cool reveal. Marketing team should take notes. If you're revealing a game that's not immediately recognizable like Alan Wake 2, show a healthy amount of gameplay footage. Turns out this will actually be a free-to-play game, so I'm definitely keeping a close eye on this one. It all makes sense now. This may very well be the best tech demo I have ever played. Showcasing the Unreal Engine 5 on your own PS5 and Series X for free, while also simultaneously marketing The Matrix. I guess you could say the visuals are pretty unreal, and you can't tell if you're in The Matrix or not. Seriously though, if you have either console, it's free. Try it out, it's actually fun, and very impressive. Okay, finally, we're nearing the end of the Game Awards, but first, my number 1 pick for my personal game of the year. Metroid Dread. I mean, come on, it's Metroid. Now, personally, I think both It Takes Two and Deathloop have a better shot at winning the Game Awards, but when it comes down to my personal rankings, usually my favorite gets the edge over the best in most scenarios. Although I'd consider Metroid Dread a masterpiece in its own right. Metroid pioneered the non-linear 2D platforming gameplay that we know as Metroidvania. And while Metroid Dread doesn't necessarily do anything groundbreaking, it simply perfects the formula gameplay and overall execution. This is by far the most fluid 2D platformer I've ever played. The slick platforming and responsive controls is what I've been wanting to experience in a Metroid game for a long time. Especially knowing how experienced Samus is in what would be the 5th entry in the main franchise. The level designs feel somewhat linear, naturally leaning you towards the right direction, but expansive enough to revisit the complex map to find all the hidden secrets that's just begging to be discovered later on in the game. It's challenging, but extremely well balanced at that once you learn the patterns. It features some of the most epic video game moments and boss fights that I've had in quite a while, making it stand tall as one of the best Metroid games in the series, next to Super Metroid and Metroid Prime. It's the perfect Nintendo revival that knows exactly what it is and succeeds well beyond past it. Metroid Dread is also proof that you can still make a high-quality 2D game for full price instead of another open-world Ubisoft game that we see far too frequently. Sure, Deathloop is phenomenal when I first played it, but Metroid Dread has the longer-lasting impression, which I still think about to this day. Probably won't win at this event, but in my book, this would be my game of the year.
And the 2021 Game of the Year is It Takes Two.
Fuck yeah. Again, This is the one game I've yet to play, but I am so glad to see what's technically an indie studio take a massive win in a 2-player only game. Joseph Fares has earned that Game of the Year award. Well, that was an interesting show this year. Thankfully, the last bit really put a smile on my face, but the show really started to drag after an endless amount of commercials. That's the main problem I'm starting to have with the Game Awards. While I do like award shows, and I do like being surprised with game reveals, but it's hard to appreciate the Game Awards when it barely focuses on, well, the actual awards. Don't get me wrong though, there were some pretty solid reveals, most of which aren't coming out anytime soon, but nobody in their right mind should make this nearly 4 hours long. Realistically speaking, I think the Game Awards should focus more on the nominations for gaming industry recognition, while also making room for a handful of massive reveals. Quality over quantity. But who am I kidding? It's all about Jeff Goldblum getting that sweet, sweet money bag for
Raid Shadow Legends. I mean, wow! You pick your champions, they're glorious, and their shields, oh, they glisten like wet otters.
Can't get that at the Oscars.